And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jack B. Flippin' on Mission Reloaded Gaming, and today we're going to go over a blog post that Schema put out, the cat god. And it starts off with something like this. Hello, players. This is more of a blog post about the general direction of the game. With the recent updates, there have been a lot of new build mechanics and restrictions that are very controversial. However, they seemed necessary to solve certain problems with people exploiting certain aspects of the mechanics. Most players never plan or intend to abuse these mechanics, but they still are negatively affected by them. New players also are affected by the added complexity. Even the existence of additional number while building has a negative effect. Understandably, a lot of those players ask the question, why is this even a thing? Restricting the build mechanics is most of the time affecting the wrong people. And a lot of the time, they are not also 100% effective in the way that they are trying to prevent it. Making them more severe would put even more restriction on the whole system. Reducing them would make them completely ineffective. With all that in mind, I came to the realization that my perspective on balance might be a little bit off. In trying to put out fires, new fires are coming up, while development of other things are suffering. We have been focusing on fighting the extreme cases of exploits way too much. The conclusion is that I want to get back to those things that make the game fun. To explain it better, the game should be fun for more than one group of players that are enjoying the game without going out of their way to exploit the mechanics. While there still needs to be things to prevent these exploits, it will be done in a different perspective. Measures that solely exist to prevent the exploitation will be put into a rules system, so a server admin can apply them. This rules system will be quick and easy to set up, which will be explained in a bit later. We will still be sticking with the basic premise of reactors and stabilizers, but we'll be simplifying things a fair bit. The first thing that will be removed from the game is integrity, and the reactor stream between reactor and stabilizers. Also, while I cannot promise for sure, the required reactor stabilization distance may be reduced. Server rules. Oh goody goody, this is like, I'm looking forward to this one because I'm already making a server. Server rules system will work as follows. The server admin picks one or multiple conditions with either all conditions must be true or one of the conditions must be true. While there will be other affected areas, this explanation will be for structures. This means that these conditions will be checked while a player builds or spawns a ship. These conditions will include a reactivation of integrity, the stability stream, ship size, mass, dimension, block counts per type, weapon strength, shield strength, and a lot more. After the admin picked a set of conditions, they can choose from one or more actions. These will range from very light, ship weapons are disabled while conditions are true, to more harsh, remove ship, or even ban player. It's the admin's choice. They will also have the option to warn players on certain actions. A simple rule would be, if block count is over 1 million, deactivate the ship's power. Ooh, that'd be fun. The player would then be notified of their the player would then be notified in their structure view in build mode that their ship is currently triggered the rule. Another rule would be, if integrity is in the negatives, the ship is disabled. The condition then can be more soft, like mark ship for admin. Ooh. Admins would then be able to track those marked ships in a panel, as well as blueprints. This would exactly emulate how the integrity works right now. For normal gameplay, all integrity would not be visible as long as the player is on a server that doesn't use the rule that relates to integrity. Same is true for stabilization streams and other things that would be removed for simplification. When I make the game, I think about people who have fun together playing it. Exploring, building, fighting. Competitiveness is also nice as long as it doesn't go into extremes. So I want to focus on the fun part. Unlike many games nowadays, I don't want to make an esport. If you want to play hardcore, you are welcome to do so, but you will have to make your own rules. With this said, development can move a lot more freely and will have a lot more resources available for other things. For anything that might be exploitive, conditions can be added to help server effectively detect and remove it from their server if they wish. We will also be providing default options for servers to quickly set up. These default app options will be based upon what rules are typically set on different types of servers: PvP, PvE, RP, building, etc. This is all, of course, not a complete fix to the balance problem, but it enables us to create a balance for a specific scenario instead of doing the impossible task of coming up with the balance that works in possible scenarios. For example, the intended vanilla balance will be based on economy. Also, something that currently doesn't matter on the servers, which in turn completely changes the scenario and requirements for any balances. By focusing on a specific scenario and then letting the admin control what kind of play they want to see on a server, we can reduce it down to an amount of forced restrictions, considerably making building in the game a lot more fun. The rule GUI will be equipped with a simple way to create new rules. Also, it will be possible to create and export-import rule set templates. There will also be some general rule sets available that the admin can choose from, like Creative Build, Restrictive PvP, Hardcore PvP Open. That's like the only one that should... Anyway, moving on. List of conditions and reactions. There are a lot of possible conditions and actions that we'll be compiling a list shortly, with all possible conditions and actions I can come up with. Since any action will be specific to a server, to use them, I'm willing to implement pretty much any request a server admin has for a rule. Oh wow. So, possible conditions would include ship size, ship mass, block count per type, system count, specific to a system, integrity, shield size, reactor level, and a lot more. Whatever we can come up with. Actions would affect the entity and creator spawner of an entity and would range from hidden to severe, including mark entity for admin. This entity would then be trackable by admins in the admin panel. Mark entity for everyone in HUD/name. Disable certain systems. Add an effect. Disable completely. Warn a player for the amount of time. Remove completely. Kick or ban player. This would also enable servers to implement buffs for certain builds, bigger stations, by applying certain effects. This would be a lot easier than modifying the config file. Also, it would be compatible with most other updates in the game. General. In general, there have been a few adjustments to the perspective as well. With the universe update coming up, I'll be going and moving away from trying to be a middle ground on a lot of things that would cost extra time. There's already too many you can do this or that choices for how the basics of the game work are not good for the complexity of the code. This is not directed on gameplay. In fact, gameplay should be enriched with more options. But for things like having an option to use old depreciated things still, like old turrets, are a good example. The universe update is pretty huge in scope. But all in all, I'm looking very much to 100% diving into it. The basics are already there. Most of the old systems have been overhauled internally, and the few old ones that are left will be overhauled at the beginning of the update. Amongst other things, AI, fleets, and basic loading systems and sector transitions. All in all, the universe will be torn down and recreated according to what we planned. And then, it will be filled with new interesting things, adding gameplay and things to do, as well as making the surroundings a lot more recognizable. Thanks for playing StarMade. Schema. So, it looks like we have a lot to look forward to, and I think they got tired of getting stuck in the erroneous middle of muck and crap that deals with making a game, and now have finally seen the light, realized what they need to do, and are heading towards it. I am really looking forward to this next update, especially considering I've been sitting here trying to make a themed server, and it sounds like it's about to get a whole lot easier to have a lot more fun. So, I look forward to seeing you guys on my server, or just around. You guys have a good evening. Peace.